Hello, and welcome to episode 8 of Aftershock Weekly. This week we're going to switch it up a little bit. I just want to talk to you on an individual level, and I want to talk to you a little bit about if you have your own business, you're an entrepreneur, whether you work in a bigger company, and you want more out of life. You want more out of your job, more out of your career, more out of your business. I'm just going to talk about a few things that has helped me, and I'm not saying that I'm anything special, I'm not, but I've learned some key principles that has helped me and our business at Aftershock grow and be able to help more businesses. First thing I want to talk a little bit about is take chances. It's important in life to be able to take a little risk sometimes. So let's say you want to learn a new skill, but you're not sure you're going to be good at it, or you want to get a promotion, but you're not sure that you would be a good fit for the job. Well, sometimes you got to take the leap and you just have to do it. You have to go get that job. You have to take the interview. You have to make the extra sales call to somebody that's scary, that you've been wanting as a customer, but you just weren't sure that you could get them. One of our early big breaks years ago was a gentleman who I have high regard and high respect for, who owned a chain of urgent cares out here, and I ended up calling on them to get their business, and it was really scary for me because they had a pretty large company. I didn't have any clients at that point in time that were big enough, but as I was able to go in and see what they were doing for advertising and give them an analysis, I was able to save them a bunch of money and then do a great job on their SEO and pay-per-click to where we were able to increase their digital business for half the cost of what they were spending. And that was a big win for us because it was the first big company that we were able to work with. And then from there, we've worked with a lot of them, and I was able to leverage that into relationships with other companies. You have to take a risk, and it has to be calculated. You have to at least know what you're going to get from it, but it's okay if you're scared to do something. Sometimes you just have to do it. So the next thing I would say is reading. Reading is very important. In my life, growing up, my dad always told me that I should read more. He was a big reader himself. And of course, like most teenagers, I didn't listen. I read one book all through high school. It's called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And it was hilarious. I really liked the movie, so I thought I liked the book. I did. That was the one book I read my entire high school years. Well, what happened was I got introduced to some people in business at 19 years old and that were influential and started talking about reading. What was neat is they introduced me to one of my first books that I ever read after that point. Was a book called Magic I Think Big. And it's this book here. And the cool thing is the friend of mine now, he's become one of my best friends, but at the time I didn't know him very well. When I told him that I didn't want to read much, he said, "Hey, I just want you to read 3 chapters, not the entire book, 2, 12, and 13. To me, that was palatable because he was also going to teach me some things that were going to help my new business at the time. So I did. I read those three chapters. I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. Then he gave me another book, and I started to go through that. And that one was called The Choice, which is another fantastic book. And I started looking at leaders that I respected and business people I respected, and one common habit that they had was they're big readers. They were always trying to learn more. They were always trying to broaden their knowledge so that they could make better decisions in the future, that they could learn from people that have already been successful. I caught fire with the reading, and I think I read somewhere around 50 or 60 books in the next year and a half, which was a pretty big jump. And that's something that if you're not into, start with something that is fictional. It doesn't have to be success-based or anything, or maybe something that is in your industry or in your trade, a book that's highly regarded or recommended so that you can gain some more knowledge. I always heard that leaders are readers, so take that for what it's worth. Next, find a mentor if you can. Find someone else that's already been successful, been there, done that is willing to give you some of their time. Sometimes you're going to have to pay for that time, but having someone that has been there, done that, help you in life is only going to help you speed up your success. It's going to speed up your failing forward, because I've heard many times fail forward. Well, how about succeeding forward? And you can do that if you have a mentor who's already failed forward, learned the mistake, and can tell you how to get past that. I have had some tremendous mentors in my life, too many to name, but I'm thankful for each of them. And that's something that's crucial. So find someone that you look up to, either in your industry or maybe somebody who's successful in their business or work, job, career, and find out. And it doesn't have to be all success or money motivated. Maybe you need a mentor in your marriage. Maybe your marriage isn't what you want it to be, and you see someone that has that. Find out what they're doing. Find out how their relationship is where it's at. Finding a mentor in life, I believe, is really important. All right, the last thing that I'm going to say is work. Work hard. Work a lot. I'm not saying be out of a balance and don't spend time with your family. I think family is the most important thing. When you're trying to learn something and you're trying to be successful in a career, it's very important that you put in the time to become the expert, to become the best as possible. Now, that may mean getting up earlier. That may mean getting up at 5 a.m. instead of 7 or 8 a.m. so that you have 2 extra hours in your day. I don't know. If you've got a family, that might be what you need to do to make sure that you can still be with them. But work hard. Don't be afraid of it, because every time that you do a job that's new, that you learn a skill on, you're going to be better, much better the next time. So that's extremely important. Those are 4 things I wanted to talk to you candidly about today. And hopefully this helped in some way or another. If it did, please leave a comment. Let me know. I would love to know if you're a big reader, what kind of books you're reading. If you have mentors, let me know who's mentored you and changed your life. I'm excited to hear about that. So thanks for tuning in to this different version of Aftershock Weekly. We look forward to seeing you next Monday. And with that, we'll leave you with a quote.